All right, we are in a very important section here. We should have paper on the floor so that those who are a little bit on the timid side, which very, very few people should be there right now, will be able to write their questions because we're going to have a group of panelists up here and I'll call your names. Those of you who know yourselves, you can just begin to come to the platform right away. We have just a half an hour, so if you want to ask questions relative to your career choices or what are you on planet Earth to do, you can ask this panel. For career areas, we know Sister Karen Ennis. She is musical singer extraordinaire. All right. Mrs. Omaregi, she's a lecturer at which Teachers College? Churches Teachers College. Mrs. Edwards, she is a teacher at
Spanish Town Primary.
And we have somebody that we want you to treat very, very kindly because we Portland people know how to be hospitable, right? She's Judge Paula Powell. We don't have to tell you what a judge do. You know what a judge... You want to say anything specific?
Well, up to last week, I was the judge who did children's court in Portland. And I'm very sure that there are no students here who have ever been to my court other than for good reasons. Or after you left my court, you're now a good person, I'm sure. But I'd like to welcome Passion and Purity to Portland because it's one of the first parishes that I work in that they're actually here to minister.
Thank you, Judge Paula Powell. And here we have Mrs. Clover Flowers. She lectures, I'll just be brief, she lectures, I know you're ready to ask a question. She lectures at Michael Teachers College. And one more thing about yourself.
I specialize in curriculum, and I'm also a pastor.
She's specializing in curriculum. Curriculum what? Formation? Development, etc., etc. All right. And we have Norris Simpson, engineer.
Electrical engineer.
Okay, Mr. Norris Simpson, electrical engineer, and Miss Grace Robinson.
I'm a doctor at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. I specialize in anesthesia.
Anybody feel sleepy? Okay. And here is the head cook and bottle washer here at Port Antonio High. This lady loves children. Mrs. Logan, Denise Logan. Put your hands together. Guidance counselor here at Port Antonio High. All right, let's have the questions running.
So you will ask your questions on anything to do with your career choice, what you're passionate about, what questions you have in terms of your choice of career. And you've heard the expertise we have on the panel here. Let's have the questions. You can raise your hand and somebody's on the floor with a mic. You can ask your question. Or if you want to, you can write your question on a piece of paper and then we'll read your questions. Papers are being handed out, so you can collect your paper. There's a hand at the back there, so could the person with the mic just go to that person at the back to take that question?
Good evening. What does it take to become an artist?
Well, I didn't hear that. Could you repeat?
What does it take to become an artist?
So you're directing that question to Mrs. Scarlett. Okay.
Well, wow. What does it take? It takes passion. It takes a love for the music. It takes doing your vocals every day. It takes finding the right medium. For me, the JCDC Gospel Festival is a very, very, very good medium because they train you how to use the stage. They give you workshops how to carry yourself properly, how to speak properly, how to sing properly, and they give you the opportunity of not only producing a song and doing a video, but they give you an opportunity to minister all over the island.
Very good response. Let's have the next question. Yes, a hand is there.
Evening. To the judge, what are some of the goals to achieve when pursuing your career?
All right, to become a judge, you have to be a trained lawyer first with several years experience. To become a lawyer, you need your law degree and your practicing certificate. And what I have found out is in Jamaica, people love to say that only those who can chat should become a lawyer. And despite the inquiry, that's not so. Because you have lawyers who specialize in different areas. Some lawyers never go to court. So as long as you matriculate to get into UWI, if you're doing it here, and you can have good passes at A-levels in any area. I know a lawyer who was a math specialist and became a lawyer. So as long as you have the A-level passes, perhaps 2 or 3 A-levels at very good grades to get into UWI, then you can get into the Faculty of Law and then go on to do law school. So as long as you like the area, you like to read, you like to analyze, you might want to do corporate work, stay in an office, do contracts, sell land. You might want to go into court. If you go to court, you have civil, you have criminal. You might want to become a judge eventually. So it's a very wide sphere. But law is a good ground to take off to other areas. And I guess you could say a lot of the politicians in Jamaica, somehow they are lawyers. But if you do law, you're on the way to doing anything else that you want to do in life.
Okay, thank you. Let's look at this question here. What if your passion is not God's passion for you? I guess that's let's just get a half a minute response because I think we all know the response to that one. But let's have one panelist just respond to that. What if your passion is not God's passion for you?
Well, I would say you'd be going into troubled waters. And if we were to look at even in the secular surrounding, we'll see where there were persons or there are persons who initially had given over themselves to God in terms of even say singing with music, and then when they placed God on the back burner, their lives did not come off as they would have wanted. So if God created you, he knows what's best for you, so you can trust him.
Okay, thank you. There are 2 questions which I'll ask together because they're related, and this goes to the doctor. It says, I want to be a medical doctor, but my heart is with ministry. What do I do? And the next question says, I'm in 6th form. I want to be a doctor. Should I go to medical school in Jamaica or abroad? Which is better?
Okay, I'll deal with the easier of the 2 first. I am a trained medical doctor and I'm a specialist. I'm a pastor. I coordinate the academy, the Bible Teachers Academy of the Arts. I speak at different functions. Ministry is my life. So that's easy. In medical school, yes, it's demanding, and yes, a lot of your time is taken up studying. But when your heart is given over to God and your heart is given over to what God wants for your life, the first thing is that God will open your mind. I'm a living testimony to that. He will open your mind and he will make it easy so that you will have time to do what he has created you to do. And also, don't forget that there are many, many doctors on the mission field. There are many doctors who are in Japan, who are in Haiti, and different ministries, Joyce Meyer's ministries, all those big mega ministries, they have doctors as a part of their teams. So it's doctors on a mission, medics on a mission, these are all doctors. And they carry the gospel and they do medicine. The second question, do you need to do it in Jamaica? No, you don't need to do it in Jamaica. The American system is a bit different from our system because our system is based on the British way of teaching. All our high schools, all our universities are basically British based. I'm biased. When I was in high school, I used to think that to be a good doctor, I had to go away. And when I finished my first degree in medicine, I was intent. If I'm going to be a good anything, I have to go to America and I have to go away. That said, there are a lot of opportunities in America and in Canada and England that you may not get here. But I did my basic training here as a doctor, and I did anesthesia here as a doctor. And I think I'm halfway decent. I'm a good doctor, and that's not any props to me. God has made me a good doctor. All right? So whether you do it here or whether you do it in the States, as Pastor Clover said earlier, listen to God. That's the most important thing, because a lot of people go to the States and they lose their way. They lose their way. There's no church close to you. You're not ministry minded. You're not focused. And I can tell you today, if I didn't stay in Jamaica and do anesthesia, I would never have been in Bible Teachers International, and I would never have the passion for ministry that I have today, because it kept me focused and grounded.
Thank you. Very good response right there.
Can I
Very
just-
good. We'll take a question from the audience, and then I'll read another question.
Can I just add a comment, make a comment?
Yes.
Recently, I had a conversation with a medical doctor from the United States, and she explained that in her hospital, the Jamaicans are well known for being good problem solvers because of our situation in Jamaica, where we have to find ways of solving problems. So when they have to rely on high technology, the Jamaicans can find the answer out of basically nothing. So I want to make that, something big for Jamaica.
Amen. Very good. Very
And
good.
lastly, let us remember, when you read the book of Luke, our own brother Luke was a doctor. One of Jesus' disciples was a doctor. Amen?
Amen. Let's take one from the audience.
Good afternoon. Oh, my question is directed to the judge. As a Christian, making decisions in the courthouse, does that have any negative impact on your Christianity? And I would like you to give suggestions on how you make your decisions, and how do you know that your decisions are right?
All right. So which one should I take, the easier or the harder one first? Okay. I'm a resident magistrate, and we're what we call creatures of statute. So it means that every case that comes before us, there is already a body of law that exists. So we will have what you call statutes or acts of parliament. For example, the Child Care and Protection Act or the Firearms Act. So we already have a blueprint of what we follow. And then you also have what you call case law. So cases that are decided whether Privy Council or here in the Court of Appeal or the courts. And that forms the body of law that we follow. So whenever you make a decision, you have to do it within the context of the law that is relevant to the case. And you also have certain standards, burden of proof, standard of proof, etc. But the Christian in me causes me to not just apply the black and white of the law, but to look at the human beings who are before me. So I am very passionate about children and young people. So whenever I give my decisions in court, I have to try, even if I'm tired, even if I'm hungry, if I'm given a sentence, I try to pour a little of me into that situation. So I don't just say to the child, you're on a probation order, or I'm going to fine you to pay X amount of money. But I try to encourage that child. And the interesting thing is that even the law, the Child Care and Protection Act, states that as a judge, you must go beyond just what you see in front of you and inquire into the child's background. So when I give a sentence, I try to look at what is the dysfunction in the family or that situation, and I try to give an encouraging word to the child or the parent and to ask them to try their best to, change the situation, go back to school, complete your education, try in some way to be rehabilitated. So that was the first one. And how do I know my decisions are right? If you read about the Judge Solomon, sometimes I just have to pray and ask the Lord for Solomonic wisdom, because sometimes the cases are very hard to decide, and you just have to pray and ask the Lord to help you to apply it in the right way. And at any rate, there's a court of appeal so that if you made the wrong decision, they can review your decision and tell you whether or not you got it right the first time around.
Thank you. I must say that whenever we have the judge on the panel, we always find that a lot of questions are posed to the judge. And so you need to understand that. Now, the next question I'm going to pose to the guidance counselor, it says, how do you deal with having gay friends without cutting them off or making them feel like it's okay? Now, this I think would have been for the purity section, but just give a 1-minute response on that.
I think that you just have to treat the person, you treat everybody as an individual. That's basically it. And you just have to love everybody no matter what. You need to be supportive of them no matter what, and try not to discriminate against them, and try not to be prejudiced against them, and just go to church with them and talk with them, but just still be friends with them. Okay, don't give up on them. Never give up on anybody, no matter how bad they may seem or how bad you think other people may think that they seem. Do not give up on them. You never know. All right?
Thank you very much. I'll pose this one I'm coming to the audience. I'll pose this one to the engineer because it's a question on math. I know a lot of students struggle with math. How do I pass math? What are the steps I should take? Should I study or should I practice math?
All right, firstly, I find that a lot of persons, as it relates to math, have a mindset against math. Math is not hard. Just as anything in life, you have to work at it. The principle in math is you have to practice. Maths is governed by principles, and once you've learned the principles, you need to practice the principles in different applications. So it's not hard. You just need to learn the principles and work hard at it. Because if you choose engineering, you have to know math very well, because pretty much everything you do has math base, pretty much.
Thank you very much. Let's take one question from the audience. There's a hand over there.
Good afternoon. I'm a person which like babies, and I want to become a pediatrician. I would like to know, while in medical school, if I can go around and do other practices on children and help others while learning.
Okay, the law of Jamaica, as the judge pointed out, there's such a thing as a practicing license or a practicing certificate. When you go anywhere, you have to be legalized, authorized, certified to practice, whether it be law, nursing, medicine, whatever it is. And the laws are there because if I go as a medical student and I'm allowed to put up IVs and I'm allowed to give medication, I can kill people. I can kill people. That's why it's important that you're fully trained. That's why it's important that you keep up with your practicing certificate. So as a medical student, yes, you can help with the more nondescript tasks. So you may be able to help to comfort a baby on the ward, or you may be able to help with the baby-friendly aspect of the hospital. But when it comes to medical duties, there are certain things that you will not be allowed to do until you're fully trained in it, until you've passed your internship, you've gone through the senior house officer program, because the Medical Council of Jamaica has to make absolutely sure that the people who call themselves doctors who work on people are safe.
Okay,
and
thank you.
If I could just add, perhaps if you have that love for children from now, you could volunteer. So there might be a basic school or a summer school, or even at your church, if you have a program for children at your church, start practicing from now, not to do any surgery, but to care and to get that feel from now, even before you go into medical school.
Good day.
Okay, I'm going to put this one to Mrs. Amarigi. 2 questions in one. I would love to become an economics lecturer. What is the salary scale and what should I expect? And the next question says, have you had to deal with any challenges in the classroom? How did you deal with a difficult student?
Well, there is a saying that teacher's reward is in heaven. For you to be a teacher, you have to have the passion. If you look at the salary, you will never be a teacher. That is just the truth. And we teachers, for you to become whatever you want to become in any other profession, you have to be taught by a teacher. So you need the passion. The salary scale now, it depends on the number of years, your qualification. And the thing is that for you to be a lecturer right now, you have to have masters in whatever area. Because the teachers' colleges are moving to first degree level. And sometimes some of us just specialize in any area. You have to have masters in the content area. If you want to teach language or biology, chemistry, you have to have masters in chemistry. So you can have masters in educational administration and you want to teach chemistry. Difficulty? The good thing is that in the colleges, we don't really have under 18. We have few, like 17, 18, 19, like in the high schools. Some of them tend to give trouble, late assignments, excuses, and also remember we have a lot of parents there too, and married people, so they have those challenges. But the thing is that when you are at the college level, you need to just go beyond the classroom. You can't talk to them like children because they are adults. You need to find out the situation at home and what they are really passing through. And then you can empathize and sympathize with your student. But the bottom line is that you have to love teaching to become a teacher. Because you take students' work home, you have to read, you have to study, you have to know more than your students. Because if you don't know more than your students, you cannot stand in front of them. Especially this time, a lot of information around. Sometimes students are even way ahead of the teacher. So you just make up your mind that after school, you have to take home work. And you have to work and work. Even during the holidays, you have to work. Please, you have to love teaching before you can come in.
All right, thank you very much. We'll ask just two more questions. I'll pose this one to Mrs. Edwards, then I'll pose the other one to Mrs. Scarlett. Question, can peer pressure be controlled? There are three questions. I just want you to answer it shortly. I think this person probably is having some issues, I'm not sure. Can suicide be controlled? And how must I react to others if I am a thief? That's a tough question, but give a quick answer to that one.
All right. Can peer pressure be controlled? My response to that is yes. As an individual, you have a choice. You decide what you do. Yes, the pressures are going to come, but at the end of the day, you make that ultimate decision, right? So you can control it. As a matter of fact, anything that happens to you, you have something to do with it. So you can control it. If you are a thief, how do you react to people? The first thing I must say, you should not be a thief. And if you really know that you're having an issue with stealing, you should try to get help. Because obviously this is something that you have tried to solve on your own and it's not working out, so you need to get help with it. How you react to persons around you, you might be in a situation where it is that you really don't want to steal, but it's just happening, right? It will cause you, because you'll be basically in a conflict. If you really don't want to do it, when you go against people and you find that you're stealing like from your friends and stuff, you're going to have an issue. So you need to get help. That's the best thing for you. You need to get help.
Yes, thank you. And I know it's a question and some of you laughed, but stealing is a serious issue in our schools. And we have, it's a situation that, it's so difficult because you don't look at a person and you know that they are thieves. And it's a serious problem in our schools. Most of you who are in schools, you would understand that you've experienced this, or your friends, somebody has experienced this.
Another part of it was about suicide, if suicide can be controlled, and I don't think we need to overlook that. If you are at a point where you think that you need to take your own life, first and foremost, that is not of God. And the enemy brings pressure on us and try to take us to a point where we think that we cannot cope anymore. And I just want to share with you, I tried committing suicide. Oh God. When I was younger, I used to have a lot of sores on my skin. It can be controlled. You don't have to commit suicide. If you have an issue, you can get help. I had a lot of sores and people used to call me all sorts of names. And I couldn't take it. I'll go to church and my friends will ridicule me. And you go home and it's just like I wasn't having that support system that I was looking for. And it drove me to the point that I went to the doctor about the same skin issues and I got some tablets. I couldn't take tablets. When I started to swallow, they would automatically come up. And one night I decided, you know what? All of these tablets, I'm going to take them and end it. And I actually took them. And I was just out of high school. And after going through all the years of high school, this thing, I really couldn't deal with it. And I took the tablets and I went to sleep. And I went to my bed with the expectation that I would not wake up. And I slept for more than 24 hours. I was staying with my sister and she left for work, her husband left for work, and they just thought that I'm just sleeping. They didn't know a thing. And I remember in my sleep, it was like somebody came and poured. Like rain was falling and the rainwater just coming in on you, wetting you up, and I heard something say, get up. And when I woke up and I looked through the window, because the bed was under the window, and I looked outside was dry. And I felt the rain wetting me, right? And you know, the Lord has deposited so much in me. He has taken me to so many places. I never believed that I would have been married. I never believed that my skin would come off. I never believed that I would be the person that I am today. So if you're really in here and you're considering committing suicide, no matter what the pressure is, no matter what the situation is, you can get over it. And you will get over it. So just don't give up. If you want to find somebody to talk to, if you want to cry about it, because most time I cried when I didn't feel that I could tell anybody and they would understand what I'm going through. I cried, and one thing that I knew worked for me, I went to the mirror, looked at the mirror, and I found scriptures in the Bible, because I was a Christian when all of this was happening. And I looked for scriptures in the Bible, and I would look in that mirror and repeat them to myself until they became a part of me. And now today I'm a changed person. I don't have the spots on my skin anymore. I am married and I'm enjoying life. So you can too.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. God is good. God is good. I think that's about pulling the plug on this section.